Hey, I heard about the latest. Is today the closing ceremonies?
Yeah.
The closing ceremonies. Somebody was saying, have you seen them?
No.
Somebody was saying in the chat, do you want to know anything about that?
I don't give a shit.
Oh, okay. That Japan shows up at the end?
Yeah, they always do that. The next host country.
They said Japan took it over and someone was saying Mario is like there and stuff like that. It was fucking crazy.
Wow. Yeah, it was funny because when the Brazil came to take it over from London, it was like one of those dancers with the feathers on them. What was it called?
Brazil nuts.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, it was like the most underwhelming thing ever. I was like, okay, this is a good start to this, and then it, whatever. But yeah, cool. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait. Have you guys seen probably the most uncomfortable clips I've ever seen on television? Were the last couple nights, and it was the men's track and field relay, and the U.S. team got third place, and they were running around with the flags. Mm-hmm. And then the scores came out. Oh, you know what? They reviewed the thing, and they did something wrong. They were disqualified, and they don't know it. And it's them like celebrating, and it's like, that they didn't get the medals, but they don't know that they didn't get the medals. And it's so hard to watch. And then you see their faces as they look up at the scoreboard again, and they find out, and they all just like have their hearts broken. That was brutal. And then last night, another American thought he won the silver medal, and then no one told him he was disqualified until the interviewer asked him, so you were disqualified, and you see, like, he didn't know. And you see, like, his reaction, like, no. Like, his heart was broken on live TV, and he's like, no, come here, look what you did wrong. And it's fucked up.
Jesus Christ.
It was fucked up. It was too hard.
What was the best thing at the Olympics this year?
Consumerism, commercialism.
Oh, yeah.
Usain Bolt is like my favorite thing. Like, so fucking rad.
I liked when Ellen rode him like a vehicle.
I didn't see that. There's a picture of Usain Bolt, and he is looking at the camera as he's winning a race, and he's smiling. Yeah. And no picture has ever summed up a person's career more than that picture of, like, that is, like, perfect. That guy is always winning.
The Olympics is all people that are just there to distract you from real world problems.
It works.
They say that it's supposed to be in the spirit of amateur sports, but they cut away from the sports to show you a McDonald's commercial every 5 minutes. That has nothing to do with amateur sports.
And
it's
so,
commercialism and consumerism.
The Olympics are sponsored by Coke and McDonald's.
Hell yeah.
It's that.
It's to keep everyone at home and watching.
The two things no Olympian eats.
Last Olympics, it was so funny because they had this commercial, and it was like, athletes train and they'd stop to take a sip of a Coke. It's like, this has never happened.
Wasn't it
never.
Never. And then you look at the athlete stadiums now, and it's like all the barricades are still just strewn all over the place. It looks like a dump.
Yeah.
Athens is worse off after having hosted the Olympics, as is every Olympic host.
They make a lot of money that month.
We need to get rid of the Olympics.
Do it every 8 years.
Have you heard about the idea that they were talking about proposing no more Olympic cities, that the Olympics are hosted in multiple cities?
That would be fine with me. I don't give a shit where it's hosted. I just want to watch the sporting events. Like, yeah, I'm fine with that. I would say make an Olympic island like they do for the Wii U has that island. What is that called?
Nintendo Land?
No.
Oh yeah, that
Woohoo Island.
Yeah, make Woohoo Island.
Go.
Woo woo. Woo woo.
Shoot it in like a soundstage.
Dude, raise the hatchets if we must.
Woo woo.
Also, the Olympics are rigged, by the way.
Oh, shit.
Notice how America wins most of the medals?
Well, it's because we're the best.
Yeah,
two
most
Olympics.
too.
It is because we're the
sports.
best. And then who has the second most medals?
Russia?
China?
Oh, China?
Or Russia?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Did America win?
It's always these
yeah.
massive, superly wealthy countries that win medals. Every other country on Earth gets jack shit because they can't
can afford the hyperbaric chambers.
Yeah, they can't afford to have a legitimate
testosterone enhancers.
So, like,
yeah.
doping is illegal at the Olympics, but
we have better doping
spending
stuff.
millions of dollars to create a super athlete and then putting him in a race with some dude who runs around a fucking school in Kenya barefoot, like, how is that a fair race at all?
Where's Usain Bolt from?
To be fair, I feel like
and he's winning.
He's winning.
I'm not super into sports, but I feel like any one person who's leagues ahead of everybody else, like, oh my god, this dude is like, he's doing a great. 10 years later, he's like, yeah, I was doping.
Yeah.
That's every single.
You know what? That is true, and they do give them a blood and urine test before the Olympics, and they keep the vials and they can test it for all time to see like.
I feel like Lance Armstrong was that, and everybody's like.
There's an Olympic vault of piss somewhere.
I guess. I guess so.
Tasty.
But to me, with Usain Bolt in particular and Michael Phelps, it's like, I really hope that one day.
But that's every time. Everybody does that.
I really hope.
Think
that.
about like
That's such a
millions of
fucking
years in the
bummer.
future, they can extract that blood and make like a Jurassic Park but full of Olympians.
I would love, hey, if all the Olympic athletes got to train in one facility for a year leading up to the Olympics, then that's fair. Then that's a real race.
Everybody, level playing field.
Put them on the same thing in Dragon Ball. They'd go into that time chamber.
Yeah.
Have them all go in
gravity.
there. Because remember, an hour in there is actually a year inside. Like you wait an hour out here, you wait an hour, but inside there it's a year.
That's right.
They should do that.
You can train.
How come they don't do that? Hey, real quick, I just want to let everybody watching this live, because we're done talking to the main camera. We're talking to these people now.
Oh, okay.
Everybody watching this live, go to Twitter.
Go.
Hit up Mega64 on Twitter. I just posted our exclusive poster.
You want to see that?
Exclusive poster.
Oh, that's
Turned out nice.
It's at PAX
Oh, that's so good.
and Long Beach.
Oh shit.
Long Beach Comic Con,
It's gonna
and
kill
we'll bring
at
it to
Game
Game Days. I wonder why we're bringing it to Game Days. Why would we bring this?
It's gonna kill.
I wonder if this will do well there. I don't know what the deal is, but I guess we will. Anyway,
who's the artist on it?
the artist is Nina Matsumoto, who's done a few things for us lately.
She had the DLC cover.
Yeah,
right?
the DLC Blu-ray cover.
Tight.
She did another thing. I'm going blank. She did another thing for us recently. No, I can't remember.
He's going
what it was.
blank.
That was the concept Josie pitched like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Thank you, Josie.
There you
Thank
go.
you, Josie.
Thank you, Applecut.
Shout out.
Okay, let's not make this all about Josie. All right?
Yeah, let's
You talking about Josie all night.
That's cool.
Yeah, so anyway, that will be available soon. Hey, real quick, too, I wanted to say, I've been cracking up about, did you see the stuff about the new PlayStation model?
PlayStation Slim.
Yeah.
PS4 Slim.
Some auction site, a guy's like, hey, check this out. Everyone's like, wait, what? It's a smaller PS4.
Where'd he get it from?
What was it?
Fell off the truck.
Somewhere in Europe, yeah. I got this in Europe. Yeah, it's absolutely a new PS4. It's a small.
Oh wow.
And what they think it's going to be, they have pictures of it out of the box too. They're not here. So that's what it looks like is
shit, that's
September 7th. They have a big PlayStation event.
Yeah.
And now Wall Street Journal, late to the party, made an announcement today that they plan to show a new. They're going to show basically a new PS4. Like with all the bells and whistles, it might do 4K, it might do all this extra shit. But then they're going to show another model PS4 that's just a cheaper PS4.
PS4.
It's this one, but it's just at a lower price and all that stuff. So that's what it's going to be.
We have Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox One Scorpio, PS4, PS4 Neo, and PS4 Slim.
Yes.
Yeah.
That shit.
Yeah.
3 models.
And Wii U.
And no good games on any of them.
Oh fuck.
Not a single game worth playing.
The Phantom
Not.
Pain is still
I
on
wouldn't say
PS4.
that.
What are the best games on PlayStation? Because I was just thinking,
Uncharted.
Last of Us and
I don't
Uncharted.
have a PlayStation.
Last of Us and Uncharted.
Yeah, and there's very few experiences that I feel like I'm missing out on.
Doom was fun. That was a fun experience.
That's multi-platform though for
Yeah.
Steam.
Yeah.
You can actually play No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
That's true.
That is the one thing where that's what made me think about it. Is like, fuck,
I
I
know-
want to play this game, but I don't think it's worth spending.
Is Journey on
spending
Steam?
$400
Well,
to play
no, but here's
Sky.
the thing. Here's the thing. I don't have the consoles as a honestly, like
I wanna play
Nintendo. My Nintendo machine that will have Nintendo exclusives,
Yeah.
like whatever their device is. That's fine. But I don't get the PS4 for. Oh, where are all the I get that
Last
as
Guardian's
my
coming.
main game machine
Uh-huh.
because I'm not playing on a PC and I'm not playing it on another thing. You know what I mean? So that's my main gaming device, and that's what I play it on because I don't have. I'm not doing PC.
I'm with you.
That's it. So I mean, so all the games I'm playing are multi-platform, but that's what I play them on. That's all. That's what it is.
Yeah,
so
I
now
choose
I
to.
can play all the new games.
I just did that hard drive transfer last night.
You did.
Oh really?
Got 1.3 terabytes free now, so feeling good for now.
Yeah.
For me, there's always one game. I always hold off, even with like the last generation. I held off on buying them the
Gotcha.
consoles until there was a game where I was like, "Fuck, I'm not going another day without playing."
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 4, which is what made me get my 360.
Yeah.
I just had to play it, and I've been waiting for this generation's the experience where it was like, all right, clearing my schedule, and I'm buying a fucking PlayStation today.
I think everything.
And I thought No Man's Sky might be it, but it didn't work out.
And
There's
it
a
could
beat the
be
experience.
There's a lot. I think everything is just going multi-platform in every way because Games are so big and expensive to make that it really kind of doesn't make sense to we're only going to put on one thing. Like it used to be simple to do that, and now it's not. So yeah, it's just on everything, and it's just you pick the platform that you want to get. Used to be, I mean, there were eras that consoles sucked. There's eras that PC sucked. I feel like everything is pretty good right now. You know, where it's just like play it on whatever you got. You know,
most of the time it works on everything.
Yeah,
and has perks on various versions.
But yeah. There are some exclusives though. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up, Last Guardian on PS. I mean, that I would get a PS4 for because I'm in love with those people's games. But
is that out?
It's
October.
Month or two.
October. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if that's the one.
There is no way. I'm excited to play it. There is no way that will live up to the public's expectation.
No.
As long as it has taken
out.
Small,
cool 6-hour game.
Yeah.
If it's 4, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a game of. If it's that long, so be it. And Dominic was telling me, he's like, I ain't playing that fucking game. And I'm like, why? And he's like, that's gonna be a fucking 6-hour puzzle game. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's all I want.
That's all it was ever gonna.
Ico's like 3 hours. Like,
but
it's great.
Yeah,
it's so unique, and you still talk about.
Ico's one of my favorite games, and I would not want it to be a minute longer. Yeah. When that game hits the end, it's like, all right, ready to wrap this up. Yeah, it's just
fuck puzzles.
It's a great experience.
Fuck puzzles. I ain't in kindergarten no more.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, that's kind of where it all stands. But the people are questioning, is that real? That slimmer PS4? It's absolutely real.
How could it not be real?
How
could somebody fake that?
Yeah, exactly.
People could.
But they show the ports and stuff.
It's like there's
have to
tons
mold
of different
plastic.
But I think it's great that they are debuting 2 new models.
Yeah.
This Neo one, 4K, whatever, is going to be for the hardcore. Oh, you want to spend a lot of money on a crazy ass PS4?
Yeah.
Great. But if you just want a fucking PS4 to play the few exclusives, here's a cheap one. That's great because some people don't need anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be looking forward to.
Yeah, exactly. That's something to play.
I just want to play. And honestly, I do want a PlayStation 4. I just can't justify it.
Yeah.
It's not like I see the PlayStation 4 and I go, puh, don't want that. No, I fucking want it.
Yeah.
But I can't.
By the time you get one, all the classics will be like $20 each.
Exactly. And really, it's
you got a good PC too.
For me, it's the question of what game is going to make me drop $400 just to play that game.
Yeah,
because if I could get it and not spend $400, I'm going to do that.
Is Xbox One getting those discounts?
Oh yeah,
I've seen those coming down.
They've been doing crazy. I got mine for super cheap on Black Friday.
Yeah. And I'm sure for a rate now that there's 50 fucking Xbox Ones, I'm sure the original, which they never sold out of. There's so many of the original models lying around. They're gonna be clearing that Black Friday $100. That's gonna go so cheap.
Yeah, that's gonna be cheap. And
there's nothing on Xbone that
you can play with Dead Rising 3.
To be fair,
I waited on Titanfall, and now here we're getting Titanfall 2.
No. To be fair, Titanfall is $11.
But the sequel's coming out.
I know exactly, but I bought it for $11. I'm having a blast.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Titanfall is just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was bummed I didn't get that.
It's not like
that Dead Rising.
It's just multiplayer.
Doritos Crash Course 2.
Ooh,
it's backwards compatible.
Shit.
I was gonna say, speaking of what was it?
Shit.
We're talking about Xbox stuff. Fuck, I don't remember now. Dead Rising. Oh no, I was gonna say the only reason I got an Xbox One is I kind of missed Halo.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want new Halo.
One game I really had a great time with on Xbox One that nobody played is Sunset Overdrive. That's a really fun game.
I didn't give a shit about that.
The writing sucks. But again, I love the Tony Hawk games. It's Tony Hawk gameplay with guns.
Sure.
13-year-old me couldn't be happier. 25-year-old me couldn't be happier. It's a good game. Sunset Overdrive. If you have an Xbox One, it's like $10. Play it.
I thought that game was a load.
I've never played.
Of cum.
No, I don't. What
a load of cum.
I've said enough. I've said enough. No, I don't know. I wasn't in it.
Can we end on that?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go. I'm going.
Okay.
I'll go with you.
You wanna go with me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this.
Let's end on a hot load of
Protect
cum.
yourself out there.
We're gonna.
I thought he was gonna fart for a second.
No,
I got into position.
We're not being weird on this.
You never
That was
know.
really
I have
weird.
a quick question for Derek. Derek, can you stay around for 2 minutes?
Sure.
Okay, this is a question. Readers out there might appreciate this. I haven't had too much time to play video games because I'm bouncing around so many different jobs right now. So I can't, when I sit down to play video games, I want 2 to 3 hours to really get into it.
Yeah.
I don't have that time, but I have tons of 30-minute pockets. So I've been reading way more because it's I can just sit down and keep going.
Read
So Derek, I know you're a big reader.
Sure.
One author I've never really been into that I'm going to start getting into is Stephen King.
Okay.
There's a lot of Stephen King I want to get into. I'm curious, what are some essential Stephen King's? that I should check out. I've seen like nearly all the film adaptations, so I don't plan on like, I'm gonna read
All right.
Misery.
Let me break it down for you.
Yeah. I'm gonna take this.
I'm gonna break it down for the world.
I do want.
This is something I've been talking about.
I'm gonna look at the chat too in case anyone's going through it. But
I love Stephen King, as does everybody. He's super successful.
Yeah.
The man is fucking overrated. He is so fucking overrated. Stephen King fans, you're hating me right now, but I'm gonna say something and you're gonna agree with me. This is every Stephen King book ever. Oh, something in this town is pure evil. It takes a form that is horrifying. But you didn't know. This whole town is evil. Everybody in this town has a dark secret from their past. And I'm gonna go through each of them one by one and tell you why. When you put them all together, they manifested the evil. That is like every Stephen King story. He goes
Shawshank Redemption.
He goes so far into world building.
that's what's like. I want to read like these bigger books, like like The Stand and shit like that, and it's like 1,000
He goes-
pages.
Yeah.
And it is 1,000
He
pages.
goes so far
Fuck.
into world building that every movie that's an adaptation of a Stephen King book adapts the unique thing about
Yeah.
that story. And then cuts out the world building because, I mean, honestly, a lot of his books are set in like the same town
Yeah.
or the same state, and the same characters show up in
Yeah.
different stories. In a way, it's kind of cool because amongst over his, however many books he has,
It's like 3 a year.
yeah, fucking hundreds of books. Amongst all his books, there almost is another alternate Stephen King dimension that you can dive into.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, do you want to go into the Stephen King dimension? Do you want to spend so much time learning about fictional characters and what their mom did to them when they were a child that affected them in high school, which is what happened to them and why they married the person when they were 20 and why that person actually turned out to be evil and ruined their... It's like... it's a lot to take in. So, to answer your question, personally, Stephen King does short stories, and I think that is
the short story
the
collection,
best
yeah.
way to get into Stephen King.
yeah.
And I recommend Skeleton Crew.
That's the one. Is that the one that has the jaunt in it?
That's the one that is from the mid 80s, and it kind of is this collection of great classic Stephen King from his prime, late 70s, early
Yeah.
80s.
Yes. Good old cocaine, Stephen.
Exactly. Drugged up, I was doing acid and snorting cocaine and writing short stories.
Hell yeah.
I recommend Skeleton Crew. It's
I wrote
really
this
easy.
one in 30 seconds.
Yeah. Personally, I really liked The Green Mile. I read that, and I liked the movie when it came out. I like his kind of based in reality, more like supernatural, not necessarily like horror stuff. Almost like on the edge of fantasy and sci-fi. So yeah, that's what I recommend. Skeleton Crew, short stories.
Is Dark Tower worth getting into?
Um,
book
That's
one
a
is
big thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
Dark Tower is a very big example of what I was talking about. Where the first book is called The Gunslinger, and it's this cool fantasy western.
Yeah.
But then it goes on, and it took him 20 years to write the whole story. And I'm pretty sure by book 5, it is like he is a main character in the books as the god of the universe.
Yeah,
And he's referencing,
I think so too.
He's referencing stuff in the real world, and there's portals from the real world to the Dark Tower world. And again, it is like, okay, so what's the story here?
Yeah.
So
I know
it's like-
people who love that.
It's funny. I
but
specifically wrote down. I was doing research and I read Dark Tower 1 through 4 are good. The last 3 books, 5 through 7, he like rushed out. And so
Oh,
like
really?
that. Yeah.
The problem and the beauty of Stephen King is the world building.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing I feel like. And you never know that going in. You think like, ooh, horror master. He develops crazy monsters, and that's what he's known for. He builds worlds, and that's what he loves to do. And like, if you want to go and spend a week on vacation in another world, read a Stephen King book.
I was gonna say if you want to read like a full book or whatever, just whatever stands on its own. The Stand.
That's what. Okay, here's the other thing.
The Stand or It. People
It,
say
yeah,
that It
the
is a
Stand.
modern horror classic.
And the original pressing of The Stand is like 900 pages, and then in the 90s they released The Stand uncut, and it's like 1,500 pages.
Yeah.
Do you remember which version?
That's the one that I read.
The like full version.
That's the one that I read, but I know people who love it and say it's good either way.
Yeah.
So maybe read the shorter one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my list is like I'm gonna check out they're coming out with the Dark Tower movie next year with Matthew McConaughey and Idris Elba. Fuck yeah! I'll still check out 1 and see if I want to go further. Mm-hmm. The Stand. I heard Salem's Lot is good. That's like a classic.
Never read that.
One of my favorite books in terms of just like a fictional book that I've ever read is it's not just him on his own, but it was Richard Bachman or who's the
Richard Bachman is Stephen
his
King.
alias. Yeah.
No,
I forget the other name of the guy, but
the Talisman.
The Talisman. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love the Talisman. Yeah.
See, but for me, I don't want to dive into a 600-page book. I don't even want to dive into a 300-page book.
Sure.
That's why I recommend.
If you're going for that,
I recommend Skeleton Crew.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think The Mist is in Skeleton Crew.
Oh, that's
and
cool. I'll check that
maybe
out.
like 100 pages, 120 pages. It's like a short novella.
Yeah.
Everything after that is 10 to 20 pages.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So it's like a small book and then a bunch of short stories.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's easier to dive in. I really like the Talisman, but it's like fucking Lord of the Rings level.
Yeah, that's what I was planning to do. Is
Saga.
like, I also have like Cell, which I bought forever ago, and that's like 300 pages. I'm gonna start with the smaller stuff and then see.
Yeah.
Cell sucks.
Yeah. Really? I read half of it, and I was like, all right, and then I stopped reading.
That's like later Stephen. That's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
early 2000s Stephen King.
I bought it. That came out like right before the flood of all the zombie shit, like 2006, like right when that was like hot. So I was like, oh yeah, and then
Yeah. That was him, I feel like, being like, wow, zombies are really popular, and I've never done zombies. I'm going to do it.
yeah. Eli Roth was supposed to adapt it forever ago, and that never happened. But yeah, so I'm gonna check all that stuff. Did anyone? I think Sean watched it, but 11/22/63. I know that's recent.
We all watched it.
Is the TV show worth watching? Is it fun? Okay, there you go.
I enjoyed it.
Wasn't. I thought it was the most fucking basic you could possibly do it. Like,
Yeah, you know what?
it took no risks.
It
I
didn't
thought.
take any risks. And there were points where it could have gone deeper, darker, cooler, and it played it a little bit safe, I felt like.
It wasn't like unwatchable. I watched the whole thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I got all fucking everything. Just off the top of your heads, are there any other books? I mean, like, it doesn't even have to be like within the realm of horror. But just any books recommend. I'm currently going through Bret Easton Ellis's bookography, which is like pretty easy to like. I used to read a shitload in junior high, so like I covered like essentials and like Chuck Palahniuk, when I was 12, and then now I feel like I'm catching myself up. So I'm like in the middle of Bret Easton Ellis's bookography, which I love, and then like going deeper, I'm gonna like go through like Hemingway and just like building myself up. But even before I get into like literary classics or whatever, just any books in general that are worth checking out.
I mean, it sounds goofy, but you could quickly go through them. But man, some of the weirdest shit you'll ever read are all the original Oz books. Like
Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like all of that. What's his name? L. Frank Baum. Those are. I mean, they're children's books, but like you'll just read some of the weirdest shit. I don't know. Those are like really spooky to me. But,
Sounds spooky.
I'll tell you 3 books you should read. Read, if you haven't read The Stars My Destination.
Yeah, I have that. I'm gonna check that out.
By
Yeah.
Alfred Bester.
Yeah.
You can also read The Demolished Man, which is like
Same author?
almost as good. Yeah, same author. Definitely read Red Harvest
Ooh, what's that?
by Dashiell Hammett. It's the book that inspired Yojimbo, which then in turn inspired, Fistful of Dollars and all those other movies. And also, I think you would really like And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie.
Okay, that's like one of the most selling books of all time.
You'll really like it. It's like the story is. They set up a gimmick at the beginning of the story, and it's very fun to watch how it plays out. So those are 3 books that I really recommend. All of them are like less than 300 pages. So
I wasn't even looking. What was the chat saying in terms of book recommendations?
Chat was saying I have a short attention span, which might be true.
There you go.
Might be true.
But I think that's a safe thing. What you said about Stephen King, all you're saying is about getting into it.
Yeah,
Like,
I just want the fucking fun, unique.
If you
plot
really
to it.
love those shorts, then start reading his longest shit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying not to, but it was hard. Honestly, like I tried to introduce myself to Stephen King through The Stand, and it was hard. It was so many pages to get through and whatever. And I read other stuff, and I returned to The Stand, and I loved it.
Plus, honestly, Stephen King has a style, and it might be hard to swallow if you just dive into a giant book. That's why the short stories, they introduce you to Stephen King, and if you like it, you can expand on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
check those out.
Try the Bible. All right, cool.
What? Oh,
Try the
cool.
Bible. I always tell people you should read Candide by Voltaire. That's the oldest book I ever read that
I read that in
like
school.
fell in love with. I think that book is legitimately amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is the oldest book you've read and loved?
I'm pretty sure that book was written like 14 and something.
That
Yeah.
was.
It's like
I'm
600
trying to
book.
think.
Harry Potter. No.
I
I mean, like,
like I said, the Oz books weren't those in the 20s? Earlier?
I'm not sure.
Because
Indeed.
I loved those. But I'm also thinking, you know what? I really, I think it was.
Oh, I have another one. I read Dante's Inferno. I don't know when that was written, but I'm pretty sure it was written in the Middle Ages. And
at least before the 60s.
was before the 60s. Dante's Inferno is pretty good.
1460s.
I that's the thing. I haven't read any classics that I really liked. I mean, like I like the George Orwell stuff, like in the 50s,
Yeah.
like 1984.
The three books I recommended to you were books that I read really fast. Some books
Yeah.
I read and I enjoy them, but they honestly take me a couple months to
Yeah.
get through. But those three, it was like I couldn't put them down for went through them in a matter of days.
When was 1984 written? Do you know?
Yeah, it was written in 1934.
Is that what it was?
Read 1984.
I didn't
read
know
that,
it was
yeah.
that
Oh,
long.
yeah.
It was written to be 50 years ahead of when,
Okay.
when it took
I
place.
didn't realize.
I read 1984 for the first time this year, and
Oh shit! Yeah, that's really good.
yeah, it's really good. You read it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I picked it up just kind of like, let's see what this book's about. And right from the beginning, I was like, oh fuck.
All
this
the
is
other
heavy.
all the other classes around me at my high school read 1984, and our school, my class skipped it.
Holy shit!
Oh yeah,
it
we're
was
gonna do
writ- yeah, it was written in 1949.
Wow.
Well, if you read
1984?
it, yeah, 1949. Yeah, and it's like
I
holy.
thought it was. Yeah, I
But
thought it
like
was
still,
earlier.
that's still way fucking early for how like
Yeah.
prescient and like relevant.
That's what
it
blew
is.
my mind about the last book I read in high school was Brave New World,
Yeah.
and it was about the future, and it was so spot on. And then I thought the cover that we got was. It was reprinted in the 80s,
Yeah.
and it was all this 80s
32.
artwork. So I thought they wrote it in the 80s, and it was only towards the end that the teacher was like, yeah, so in 32, when they were writing, it's like, fucking 1932
Holy
they wrote
shit.
this? That blew my mind.
That was like way before AOL.
a little bit.
Other thing, I had a question about Dune. I heard Dune.
I've never read Dune. It's hard to find in thrift stores, and I try to buy books in thrift stores because you can get them for $1.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
Josie and I we always go to the like libraries. You can
Hell,
buy books, get books for
anybody
free.
out there who wants to get into Stephen King, don't go to a bookstore, go to a thrift store. He is the most populous
Yeah.
author to find in thrift stores. And you can find first edition Stephen King books, hardcovers from the 80s,
Yeah.
for $1.
Yeah.
Why spend $15 for a paperback printed last year when you get a first edition for $1?
That's what I went to the Mission Viejo library where I live in Orange County. The Mission Viejo library is like the nicest library. You go in, there are carts and carts and carts of free books. Please take them.
Yeah.
And then like in the used bookstore, they had classic books, and it was all these old ass Hemingways for like 50 cents. And
wow.
so I got his whole bookography for like
You know what?
you know.
Skip Hemingway,
Yeah.
read Bukowski.
Oh yeah. I heard
Bukowski.
women. I have.
Women is good. It's a dirty book. It talks about sex.
Oh shit. I have to.
Oh, never mind.
I can't.
You would probably like Post Office because it's about just working for the post office. Is the first book he wrote.
Oh, that's gonna be a new show on NBC.
And
What?
yeah, check out Bukowski, man. He's good.
Okay, another question. What is your least favorite book you've ever read? You finished it? You
They
read the
had-
whole
Oh
thing?
wait,
You finished
hold on.
it?
This is what I was gonna say about Dune real
Yeah.
quick. I haven't read Dune. It's very hard to find in thrift stores. I saw it yesterday in Barnes and Noble, but it was like a 900-page book, and I really want to read it, but I know it's like, oh, dude, I'm not gonna get through this right now. Like, I have so much shit to do. Like, I can't dedicate myself to a book that long.
Also, the thing with like Dune, like with a lot of these books, is like there's Dune and then like 5 sequels, but I'm just gonna read just.
Only read Dune because
Yeah.
everybody I know who's read Dune was so excited once they finished it to read all the rest, and it was just series of bigger disappointment after bigger disappointment, and just the consensus was like, there's Dune, and then there's everything else that's not Dune.
There's so many. Yeah. So worst book that it finished.
Worst book, you finished it, and it
I
was
don't
like,
finish books I
fuck
hate,
this.
Well, like, it would just be
So
for, it'd
probably
just be,
in school.
It'd be
Yeah.
shit for school. I'm sure.
Because I can tell you right now, The Good Earth. The
Never
Good
read
Earth is about like a Chinese farm family. And it was like, I planted this, and then I watched it grow, and then
Oh yeah.
it
Like,
didn't
I
grow
read
how I wanted.
Siddhartha or whatever, and it's all
it
shit like
didn't.
that.
Holy shit, fuck that book. The Good Earth. Fuck the
That's
Good
it.
Earth.
I realized that I'm pretty sure every book they made you read in high school was just getting you prepared that life is gonna suck. I realized that because when I was reading those books in high school, I was always pissed off, and I was like, "Why are you making me read the most fucking depressing shit?" Like,
Yeah.
I get it. The character's life sucks. He loses all his money. His family dies. I fucking get it.
Yeah.
Why? But then I left and I reflected on those stories that I read when I was younger, and I'd be like, you know, I feel like I could relate more to those stories now. I think I realized what I didn't realize as a kid. That life really sucks sometimes. And I feel like that's what every single book in high school is trying to prepare you for.
I think.
But like shit like Of Mice and Men do that while still moving you and still whatever. Like I loved that. That affected me and stuff like that. The Good fucking Earth. I planted a carrot and it wasn't very good. Shut the fuck up. Oh, we planted carrots. They're not as good as I hoped the carrots would be. Fucking kill yourself. The Good Earth.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Probably-
Honestly, I can't remember the books I hated. I only remember the books I liked. I don't feel like I really enjoyed like the Scarlet Letter that much, but it wasn't the
I
worst
don't
book
remember
ever.
even.
Worst book I probably read on my own. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but I think like as an adult, when I think back, I read the like not film to novel adaptation of Evolution, the Sean William Scott David Duchovny film from like 2000.
Wait, what was it?
There's a summer movie called Evolution, like a
Oh,
sci-fi
yeah.
comedy.
Oh, I remember that.
I read like the I never saw the movie, but I read the adapted novel of it. So it's like, all right, why did I waste my time with it?
I read every single one of the Resident Evil books.
Hey, those are great.
Every single
those
one of
are
them.
Dude,
amazing.
In college, they made us read All the King's Men. That was like torture. That was
Really?
I understand it's a literary classic, but just it
Is
was
that about Humpty Dumpty?
it was in a mental space that I was not, right? I'm a 19-year-old kid making Mega64, and I have to read about some like maybe corrupt politician and his campaign trail in 1930s Louisiana or whatever.
Oh, that
It's just
sounds
like,
boring.
yeah, dude. It was like homework every night was just to not fall asleep. And
I
it's
thought
like,
when you say Kingsman, I thought like Game of Thrones type shit, but no, that's
No.
fucking boring.
no, it was fucking boring. I'm sure if I was older, I'd like it, but
Boring.
I was not ready for it.
That I mean, like I feel like I had this conversation with. I think it's a tired conversation, but just the idea of like. I read so much in junior high, and then in high school I had to read all these boring books. I stopped reading because it made me hate reading, and it's not until I was an adult now. Oh, reading is fucking great, you know, like.
Yeah. But in all honesty, in high school we had they got rid of it after graduating.
Yeah.
But we had a program where in every year you had to read an amount of pages.
I did that same thing, yeah.
And that killed reading for me
Yep.
because it was like I was reading stuff for fun outside of class, and then it became but not enough. What? Well, this is a really good 400-page book. You got to read 1,200. Oh, there's only 3 more weeks, so I would force myself to read all this shit that it like wrecked it for me. And throughout college, I'll tell you right now, I didn't read shit because I was burnt. And now again, as you said, I'm an older guy, and now I'm like devouring nonfiction and some fiction, whatever. But it's like I had to recover.
You know what? People, they say I have a short attention span, but it was the required reading in high school that made me fall in love with short books. Because, hey, a story that's over 100 pages for a high schooler is easy to get through, and you do 3 of those, and it's like, cool, 3 stories.
Yeah.
Instead
I think
of like
it would,
one massive 1,000-page book, you're just like,
all that mattered was pages, and that made no sense to me.
Yeah.
To
Holy
me,
shit,
let me read a book in my own time that I love and have me report on it by the end of the, something I'm passionate about. I'll make a presentation about it.
The only
But
time
the
I
numbers
like
is-
the only time I like the school enforced one is when I got a free personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut if I read a certain amount of pages.
Yeah,
But
I always read.
I was like, I gotta
getting
get
a
that
pizza.
I gotta get that pizza.
My mom and dad would never get Pizza Hut, so it was like, I'm getting that. Just so you know,
man.
I'm getting that Pizza Hut.
man, they make you read some of the shittiest books in school.
Yep.
I read a book called Bless Me Ultima. Fucking kill Ultima. Kill me Ultima.
The thing with like English classes, I loved English class and like I loved it. I didn't do most of the required book stuff, so I would get an A's on everything else. Anything related to like the text you're supposed to read, I wouldn't do. I would do bomb on that, but then I would pass with a C. So I get an A and everything else, F on all the required reading, I'd pass with a C. So that's why. So like the only books I did read in high school, it's like 1984, great, Animal Farm, like, if it was interesting, I would read it. Otherwise, I would just bullshit it. So, there you go, you gotta hook me in. But also, I feel like my teachers didn't do a good job contextualizing why we had to read this shit.
Yeah.
There's always, oh, well, this is on the required, they just, like, burn into their unit without ever being like, this is why this book is important. I feel like they didn't do a good job contextualizing it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, if Derek was with you, you'd be like, hey, life sucks, I'm gonna prepare you for it. It's like, alright.
Dude, teachers can't tell you that.
That's true.
Imagine a teacher telling a high school class, like, hey, I'm gonna be real with you. Life sucks.
Yeah.
It doesn't get better, it gets worse.
Hey, I will say this though. I had a teacher named Mr. Lay back in like 6th grade, and he gave us the hard. Everyone said he's a nice guy. You'll like him. He's going to give you the hardest work you've ever had.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I got assigned that teacher. I was like, oh, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
He would give you projects. All right, we're reading about mummies. You're going to research everything about mummies and make a sarcophagus and decorate the whole thing.
That sounds fun.
And decorate the whole thing, but you're going to have to do it in ways that they would express certain things.
That.
Like the way that they would speak, you'd have to kind of learn their language and do that. Because everyone's like, oh, I'm just going to decorate it and put skulls on it.
Yeah.
No, you have to learn da-da-da-da. And you have to... and then we do assignments where, okay, you have to make this book, but you have to also detail how much you spent on this book and talk about if it would be worth it to da-da-da-da. He would have it.
Yeah.
He would have everything that would sound fun, and then it would have this grisly underbelly to it. Like, you have to do this and this and this and this and this. And towards the end of the year, he told us, he said, all right, you've got one more hard assignment to go. And my goal with this class was to teach you that that shit gets laid. He didn't say shit, but basically said, you worked harder in this class than any other class, and there will come days that you have to work like this. In 7th grade, they're going to challenge you half as much as I did to you, but now you're going to have a great 7th grade, but you'll know how hard it can get. So you got to, basically he was just like, hey, I'm letting you know right now, not everything is easy and whatever. He had like a whole message about it.
Yeah.
I took that with me forever, and for years afterwards, it was like, I was always like, oh, they threw us a hard assignment. Well, nothing's as hard as what we did in 6th grade. Like, it's like I had that context.
I had like a teacher I got lucky. I was in the GATE program, whatever. It was like advanced, whatever. So 5th and 6th grade, I had the same teacher. Same thing. It was that. Oh, it was hard, but it was like one of those like really great teachers. Yeah. And then in high school, I had like 2 teachers that were like, oh, great. I didn't have any of that. I didn't have a good teacher in junior high. But yeah, just having those few teachers that are like, oh, okay, they teach you stuff. But in junior high, I read a lot though. But my English classes I didn't read.
Sweet.
Well, there you go.
Book talk. Let's end it on that.
Hey, yeah, we're gonna end it on that. I have to talk to you about something.
Book talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can't know.
Hey,
you can't know.
If
what
you
it
have
was.
good recommendations for books, tweet at me or whatever the fuck.
Tweet at him.
Yeah, sorry.
David Blaine, holla at me.
Yeah.
No
Twilight.
Thank you for watching. Hey, I might play Resident Evil 5 in a minute. I don't know.
Too scary.
I may, so maybe I'll be back on here or not. Maybe I'll just work on shit. No, Derek is not in trouble. I gotta talk about secret stuff. It's positive stuff. It's positive stuff. But he will
He's gonna spank me.
But he will.
I'm in trouble.
I was just about to say, it's good news, but he still will get a spanking. Anyway, thank you everybody.
That's right.
For watching.
Oh, last book. There's Stephen King's first book published under Richard Bachman, The Long Walk or whatever. Have you heard of that book?
I have heard of that book.
I'm gonna check that out. It sounds cool.
It sounds interesting.
It's only like 200 something pages, so.
He had this book that he published as Richard Bachman, which was banned for a long time, and it just recently was unbanned, called Rage.
Rage.
And I'm pretty sure it's about like a school shooting or something.
Fuck yeah, I'm in.
So Richard Bachman's most
sound
sought after
Yep.
is
Hey,
Rage.
there's 2 documentaries coming out in the fall about school shootings. One is a documentary about the Newton shooting, the kindergarten shooting, where they interview the parents.
Yeah.
That sounds like the toughest thing. And then they're also doing a retrospective documentary about the Texas sniper.
Oh my
Those
God.
come out the same day. So
American Sniper already came out.
there you go. I'm excited for that.
Well, I'll be in line for Tickled, so
And then there's another book called Death March.
haven't heard of it.
All right, I'll talk later about it.
Thank you everybody for watching.
Check them out. Support your local library. It's just old.
I was
people
gonna
out there.
open my new lightsaber and like do a demo, but I didn't even have time. Next week.
Soaked up all the book talk.
Look forward to it in 7 days. Goodbye.
Later.
I've seen the Dirties.
The Dirties.
Wait.
We still on the air? Because I
still
gotta
on.
adjust my.
Oh.
Fuck, these are riding up on me.